Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. In today's video I'm going to be reviewing this book, Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books. And in today's video, again, we're not talking about my way too many books. This was a library book, but I'm going to be reviewing for you Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. And this is a sequel to a book that I read and reviewed last year, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I thought that this was a very enjoyable book to begin with, and it was one that I received in my Mr. B's Crime Syndicate subscription, which I was very grateful for because I was very glad to be introduced to such an interesting take on the crime genre. I do have a full review of this, and if you want to watch that, I will leave it linked in the description down below. But today I really want to look at whether or not it is possible for a sequel to be better than the original. This book actually starts out with a quote from Don Marquis: "A sequel is an admission that you've been reduced to imitating yourself." So is that the case here? Can a sequel be better than its original? And is this that sequel? Is what I would like to ask through the form of this book review today. First of all, Everyone on This Train is a Suspect is indeed a sequel by Benjamin Stevenson, who is an Australian comedian and writer, and this came out in January of this year, 2024, and it follows the same character, Ernest Cunningham, who brought us his crime story about his family in the first book and told it to us through a re-examination of the rules of the golden age of crime books. And I absolutely loved that take on the golden age of crime. I am a big fan of the golden age, particularly Agatha Christie. I just had a great time with this book. I will say that at the outset. This one follows Ernest as he attends the Australian Mystery Writers Festival, which is having its 50th anniversary. And it is taking place on a train, which is absolutely ideal to a crime story. It even has an excellent map of the train, which I loved. If its predecessor was a very meta look at crime fiction, then this one is no different. It's set at this writers' festival on this train, and I really liked both of those things about it. It's a great setting for a crime book. I could be biased because one of my favourite crime mysteries of all time would have to be Murder on the Orient Express, and this clearly takes liberal amounts of inspiration from that. If you are a fan of crime and Agatha Christie and things like that, there are still an absolute ton of Easter eggs to be had from this one, although it calms down a little bit on the first book's obsession with the rules of crime fiction. I still really love the main character, Ernest Cunningham. I love his obsession with the rules of crime, and I love the way that he gives us the clues in such a meta way. I actually thought that because of how heavily he used that in the first book, that this book was actually able to have a bit more freedom and do that a bit better and play with things in an even more playful way because it was detached from the original and the family. Unsurprisingly, Ernest in this book is kind of soul-searching about the fact that his first book, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, has been successful, but obviously within the world of the books it was published as non-fiction, and his publishers are very concerned with the fact that no sequel has been forthcoming. He is very concerned that crimes had to happen in order for him to write the first book, and that he doesn't really want crimes to happen again around him because he is already a little bit traumatised by what has happened in his past in that first book. I would definitely recommend reading that book before this book if you want to fully appreciate this character and his way of writing and just all of the glorious references to crime fiction will be even better, I think, if you've started with that book. I love the main character. I love that this is told in first person, and I love the way he continually refers to the way mysteries work and what makes them tick. Absolutely love the meta nature of the book and the book within the book, and it just so appeals to just about everything that I love in this genre. It was also very funny. I thought this was given a real boost by a very refreshing set of new characters. All of the writers and people within this writers' circle were just really, really interesting to follow, really, really interesting as a pool of suspects. And that just really absolutely worked for me and took this to another level from the first book. I did really, really enjoy the pace of this. I really enjoyed the plot points, and without any spoilers, I did think that this pulled off the landing. As we approached the ending, I thought, yeah, this will be another really solid sort of 4-star territory mystery book. I really like this. I wonder if he can pull off the ending. And for me, this really did pull off the ending. Did I solve the mystery in this book? No, despite all of the clues that the author gives. But I must say, I don't really always want to solve these. I do think about it when the protagonist tells us that we've got all the clues, but I don't set out to solve them. I just enjoyed it. As well as the train setting, I also really enjoyed being taken on this train ride through Australia, and I felt I saw some places through this book that I hadn't previously visited in fiction, so that was cool as well. So this is the point of the video where I normally talk about what I disliked about a book, but there really wasn't much for me personally here not to like. Both of these books are a little bit silly in places, but I think that's part of the appeal. They are very tongue-in-cheek. I do think I found this one slightly funnier than the first one. I thought maybe the first one was trying a little bit too hard, whereas this one, the writer is clearly already in his groove. I was absolutely in the mood for a tongue-in-cheek, pacey mystery, and this delivered on all fronts. I would actually say that this is the first mystery in years, possibly ever, apart from Agatha Christie, that I have given a 5-star rating to. I think to a certain extent that is a case of right book, right time. I was really looking for something pacey and a book that I could sit down and enjoy almost in a day. I think I started this one evening and I finished it the next day. This is gripping from the off. I was really quickly invested in Ernest and his new story, rather than being a difficult sequel or not really being as good as the original. I actually thought that this one is superior to the original. If you like engaging protagonists who are authors, if you like mysteries where you've got a closed circle of suspects, but you also have a very crime fiction obsessed narrator, then I would say that this is a book for you. Especially if you love any of the things I've mentioned. This is very much sort of poking fun at the mystery genre while being a really good example of a mystery, in my opinion. If you've read this or the first one, or both, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know, what did you think? Did everyone on this train is a suspect live up to your expectations of it from everyone in my family has killed someone? Or did it fall flat for you? As I've said, I don't think this will be a mystery for everyone. If you don't like your mysteries to be humorous and tongue-in-cheek and very meta, then I don't think that this will be a book for you. But if you're not sure if any of those things are for you, I would recommend giving this a try, but probably start with this one to get Ernest's backstory. In conclusion then, I absolutely loved this. If you don't have a comment to leave for me about the book today, do leave me a train emoji to let me know that you watched the video. I think that the setting of this being on a train was a massive contributor to how much I loved this book. It just so reminded me of one of my favourite Agatha Christie books and settings. If I haven't sold you on this book, I do think also that this book has such a good blurb that gives nothing away but just absolutely perfectly sets the scene, which is 6 writers, 5 detectives, 4 days, 3 weapons, 2 murders, 1 train. How can you find a killer when all the suspects know how to get away with murder? If you liked Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this Ernest Cunningham sequel. I think Benjamin Stevenson has done a great job with this character, and you can tell, even though he's poking fun at it, how much he clearly appreciates the mystery genre. If you've enjoyed this video today, I'd love it if you gave it a like and considered subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks for watching today, and I hope very much to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.